Okay, very good afternoon to all of you who are joining us from India. Very good morning to those of you who are joining us from Europe. My name is Samrat Kumar. I'm the country representative for Eurexis, and it's an immense pleasure for us to bring you another exciting webinar on the Marie Skłodowska-Curie Postdoctoral Fellowship. This is the last of our series of webinars. We had in total 4 very exciting, informative sessions. This session is a very peculiar one. It's particularly interesting for researchers who are based in Europe and who are interested to apply for the postdoctoral fellowship and especially apply for the global fellowship, which would bring the opportunity to take the fellowship outside of Europe to any part of the world and maybe India, and therefore we have organized this webinar. Today we're going to present you an amazing range of Indian institutions who have excellent facilities, infrastructure, and research excellence, and who are very much interested and welcoming researchers based in Europe to come to their lab, to their departments, to their institutes, and conduct part of their postdoctoral fellowship with them. Now, without any further delay, I would like to also welcome our main guests and speakers today. And I would also like to welcome Ms. Anouk Lafortune. She is at the MSCA unit in Brussels at the European Commission. She is in charge of the Global Fellowship Program. Very good morning to you, Anouk. And also, a very good afternoon to Mr. Pierrick Filon-Achida, who is the first counselor. He's the head of the Research Innovation section at the European delegation to India. Pierrick, the Marie Curie Fellowship is very popular among Indian scientists, young Indian scientists who are interested to come to Europe, but the EU-India strategic partnership also emphasizes two-way mobility. So we are also very keen of having European researchers, European-based researchers to come to India. And the fellowship program of the MSCA, the Global Fellowship, would be an excellent opportunity, right?
Yes, I would just say a few words. Thank you, Samrat, because the specialist is Anouk, my colleague from Brussels. So I am sitting at the EU office in Delhi and interacting a lot with the ministries. So that's why I appreciate especially the Indian colleagues who are now going to explain how they will welcome Europeans. That way from Europe to India is more rare, but it's increasing. And the EU, my office, with Anouk and all the colleagues at headquarters, we are really interested to develop. We absolutely need to have young scientists coming to India to do a PhD, postdoc, because there are very specific areas where India is extremely strong. Also, there are good opportunities if you are a European student or European postdoc or already a professional. You can find an environment here in India where you can have exchange with European companies. Many European companies are putting research labs in India. So it's a job opportunity. And I would say that it's maybe a very different profile that you will build up when you come to India. Myself, but this was 30 years ago, I decided, even before I joined the European Commission, to move to Japan. I wanted to do something that nobody else was doing. So I think it should be the same. Try to put yourself, everybody go to the US, everybody go or to a country where they will feel comfortable. But if you come to a country like India, where the potential is there, where we are absolutely sure that European business will make more business with India, more science can come from between EU and India. India is a very good country to live, and the working environment is very pleasant. So you will have a special experience. You can stay in India afterwards. You can come back to Europe. You can go to another country, but you will have in your career a very unique experience that will make you different and very attractive for future employment possibilities and research exchange. So I really strongly explained that Europeans have a lot to gain to work in India. We are discussing also with a lot of universities in India, because the way they are building the welcome of Europeans is improving and is already good, and it's really positive. It's a very good environment to evolve. Samrat, I hope that Anouk will explain the modalities. But as I was saying before, when you are on a global fellowship, you come to university mainly, you come to a research center, but you also should look at the possibility of coming to work for research laboratory that is either belonging to Indian company, to a European company, but there are possibilities of financing you to work in India that way. So I give you back the floor. I was not very specific in terms of which areas are of relevance, because each of you know why you want to come to India. But I would really clearly say the country is so big. It's such a diversity of areas, such a diversity of culture. In fact, India is not one country. I always say that it's like Europe. When you are in the south, it's not the same language as in the north, not the same food, different people, but always, of course, kind people. So you can even pick up a specific region because you like that region, or you can evolve. You can come from for the global fellowship in the north of India and have during your research contact with other regions of India. It's a diversity. It's not going to one country. It's one subcontinent and many countries. So all the best to all the Europeans, and thank you again for all the Indians who will welcome in your labs Europeans. And I pass you back the floor, Samrat, to ask and so that Anouk speaks. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pierrick. Very inspiring opening remarks. You really, I think, hit the point with what amazing opportunities lie here in India. And, it's also to make this first step, as you did with your career, to go to Japan, to unknown land. It's like taking this first step and gaining a lot of benefits out of that. Thank you so much, Pierrick, for that. And Pierrick already has mentioned and introduced Anouk Lafortune. She is at the MSCA in Brussels at the European Commission. Anouk, once again, thank you so much for joining. Anouk, we here in India know a lot about the Marie Curie, especially the European Fellowship, where Indian nationals can apply and come to Europe. But we are not so familiar with the Global Fellowship scheme. And maybe you could, just in a few sentences, tell our Indian audience, especially our institutions who are joining here and our maybe researchers, the rationale, the policy, the thoughts behind this and the benefits of such a Global Fellowship program. Thank you, Anouk.
Thank you, Samrat. But thank you for the invitation. Good afternoon and good morning to depending on where you are in the world. I am indeed the policy officer in the commission responsible for the postdoctoral fellowship. And indeed, MSCA is a program that is a European program that has promoted international collaboration between EU and other countries for a very long time, and we promote institutional collaborations around projects, but also the mobility of researchers, so that we are open to researchers from anywhere in the world, and indeed Indian researchers are very successful in applying for MSCA fellowships, different types of fellowships that we have. But we also promote the mobility of European researchers outside to the wider world, for them to acquire new experience, new skills, develop collaborations with researchers outside Europe and with organizations outside Europe, and bring that back to Europe with them, and continue build on these networks, these collaborations that they've set up during their MSCA fellowship throughout their career. And this is a bit the opportunity of the MSCA Global Postdoctoral Fellowship. the objective is very much to give a chance for European researchers to go out and develop themselves as researchers, but also develop international networks. We do have the European Fellowship, which has the reverse objective, let's say, of offering opportunities for researchers from anywhere in the world to come in and research in Europe. And we have many more opportunities in MSCA, if I can diverge a little bit from the Global Fellowship, for researchers to participate in different types of MSCA projects, whether you're past your postdoc years and you're interested in more short-term mobilities in Europe. We do have a staff exchange action, for example. If you're too early for the postdoctoral fellowship and you're still in your master's or considering a PhD, then we also have doctoral fellowships in the program. So we do very much cover opportunities at different stages of a researcher's career. Now, to go back to the Global Fellowship, what we do see in our Global Fellowship at present is we actually have very few European researchers hosted in India as part of a Global Fellowship. And one of the reasons is that we get few applications. It's not a question of success rate, it's very much that there are very few applications that we receive. So we're very grateful for an event like this. I think the first of its kind, so very grateful to Access and to the delegation for organizing this workshop. And it's fantastic to see so many people connected, researchers from wherever you are, and also potential hosts connected for this event. And really, all I can hope for that it's a fruitful event, that it plants let's say the seeds for potential collaborations, potential partnerships between your host institution in India and European researchers. And I think there are also European institutions present here. So all the best for the event and for the matchmaking that hopefully will happen.
Thank you so much, Anouk. Very, very kind of you, to put the importance that we need more, applications from Europe to come to India. And this is, I think, a very important step, which we're trying to do. It's an exercise. We have a good set of institutions from India. We're trying to create, interest in Europe for India, and also explaining to Indian institutions more about the opportunities under the MSCA. As you said, there's not only the postdoctoral fellowship action, but we also have the staff exchanges, which is something very interesting for institutions, for collaboration. So this is, I think, a very good attempt today. And thanks again for joining. And now we want to know a bit more about the Global Fellowship. And I think we have an excellent person today with us, with Tuğba Arslan. She is the MSCA National Contact Point at the Scientific and Technological Research Council of Turkey. Tuğba has been already part of a Eurexis India webinar series in the past in different capacity, but today what she will do with us in the next 20-25 minutes is to walk with us a bit through the postdoctoral fellowship program, and especially emphasizing on the Global Fellowship and what is required from the host institutions, from the home institution. Like, how does the Global Fellowship work? Tuğba, thank you so much for joining. The floor is yours. I see you already put up your slide. We can see your notes as well, by the way, just to let you know.
Okay. Maybe I can differentiate the screen so that you see the main screen. How is it now? Fine?
Now it's fine. Perfect. Now it's great.
Fine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for the nice introduction and for the colleagues for the really extensive explanation about the call and the program. You already said the general view under MSCA and also Horizon Europe program. Today I will be just trying to give you what this global fellowships, postdoctoral fellowships is offering. As I am working as national contact point for Turkey, I cannot stop myself talking about a little bit about the other Marie Curie actions as well as Anuk did. There are really very nice opportunities under Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions. Very shortly, MSCA, I will tell. So after this presentation, maybe you can just check what are those actions as well. Especially the staff exchange is very popular and it's very user-friendly for you actually as Indian researchers and institutions. But as you already mentioned, the main topic of today is MSCA Postdoctoral Fellowships and Global Fellowships panel. So before passing to that specific program, I'm very sure that everyone just heard about what Horizon Europe is here, but for those who has not listened a presentation about Horizon Europe, I can just give a very short introduction about Horizon Europe first, because it is the EU's, European Union's key funding program for research and innovation with a budget of 95.5 billion euros. And you can see that for MSCA, there's a specific budget that you can make use of. This is 6.6 billion euros. And in the general view, you will see that Marie Skłodowska-Curie Actions MSCA is located under excellence pillar with a very short aim here. It's trying to equip researchers with new knowledge and skills through mobility and training. And for this aim, for this purpose, there is a specific budget for your use, especially. So this budget is not just for postdoctoral fellowships, but it is for 5 main topics, 5 main actions. I will just very shortly show you what are those actions: postdoctoral fellowships, doctoral networks, staff exchange, co-fund, and citizens. Anuk already gave the explanation of those programs. Thank you for that. I will just leave you the presentation as well after the event. You can check specifically the staff exchange, as if you are residing in an Indian institution, you can make collaborations, create collaborations with Europe thanks to this program. I will also be leaving you the deadlines and the call closures and opening dates. You can just check the detailed information in European Commission's website. Okay, postdoctoral fellowships. As I said, this is the main focus of today's event. So I will be just diving into that topic. I will be explaining to you what this call is offering to you as a researcher in the world, not only in Europe, not only in India, but anywhere, wherever you are, you can make application to this call. Okay, the postdoctoral fellowships program for this year, actually, European Commission has an increased budget of around 417 million euros. That means that they can fund something around 1,700 fellowships around, I say. This will depend on the duration of the proposals, actually. And the call will close in September, and it was opened on 23rd of April. You do have more or less 2 months window to prepare your proposal till September 11th, which is the deadline. And the objective of the postdoctoral fellowships is about enhancing the creative and innovative potential of researchers that already hold a PhD and who are looking to acquire new skills through advanced training, international, interdisciplinary, and intersectoral mobility. The mobility element is really a fundamental part of the program. There is international mobility, of course, but also between disciplines and between different sectors of the economy, there is this mobility. In terms of what they look like in practice, these are mono-beneficial projects. So it is one researcher who is hosted at a single host organization. And the host organization must be located in an EU or a Horizon Europe associated country that I will show you the list in a second. So I can say that there are currently 18 countries associated to Horizon Europe program. And the program is open to all research domains. That's why we always say it is a bottom-up approach. So there is no scientific field excluded. It is also open to excellent researchers of any nationality. So it is open to people coming to Europe, people moving within Europe, and also in the case of the global fellowships to people leaving Europe to India, for example, and then coming back. Any nationality can apply these postdoctoral fellowships if they are leaving India and going to Europe, but there are some small restrictions for people participating in the global fellowships to leave Europe and come to India. I will tell more about those restrictions in the coming slides. Okay, we have two different types. As I see, Samrat and Euraccess India has already organized different sessions. Perhaps you have participated in those sessions, perhaps you didn't. So I will be explaining you from the beginning if you are listening this program for the first time. I don't want to skip what European Fellowships is offering too, because there might be Indian researchers who might wish to go to Europe and then maybe come India, I don't know. But I will be giving the details for global fellowships because I know there are many researchers residing in Europe and would like to go to India to make research in Indian institutions. So there are two panels I have to underline. On the one hand, European fellowships, and these are for researchers of any nationality coming to Europe or moving within Europe. So you can leave India to go to Europe with European fellowships. This is on the one side. And they have a duration minimum 12 months and a maximum of 24 months. Then we have global fellowships, which involve an outgoing phase. So researchers would go to a third country, which might be India. From Europe, for example, you leave Europe to go to India, to a country which seems to be a third country in terms of EU terminology. And this is not a member state or an associated country. So India is really eligible to make your global fellowship. You spend 12 to 24 months at an institution in that country, in India, for instance, and then you come back for a return phase of 12 months back to a host country, host institution within the European Union and the associated countries. These have a longer duration from between 24 and 36 months. Please note that mobility must start at the beginning and no more than 12 months can be asked for the return phase. In both cases, it's possible to add what we call a non-academic placement at the end of the project. So you can request in your proposal a period at the end of the normal duration of the project up to 6 months that you would spend in a non-academic institution to enhance the sort of intersectorality of your project. I'm coming with more details now. I just wanted to show you again the durations. For European fellowships, it's up to 24 months. For global fellowships, it is up to 36 months because you have 12 months mandatory return phase to Europe, to EU or associated countries. Okay, here's the list of countries that I am talking about. You can check the full list of EU countries here, member states, but also would like to show you those states. You can choose one of them as a destination point for your PF application if you are leaving India to those countries, or associated countries can also be there. But the third countries, including India, can be chosen for global fellowships. So anyone now in Europe can live to India or any third country with a European with a global postdoctoral fellowship. I left the links if you would like to check all the countries here. Okay, the popularity of the action, as I mentioned, it is very popular, and you can see here the evolution over time of the number of proposals that is received, and also the success rate. Here you see the gray line cutting through the middle. As you can see, there was a peak in 2009 where the success rate was as high as, I think, 2% something. More recently, it has been generally around 15%. In terms of the number of proposals, the peak was in 2020 when EC received over 11,000 proposals. And last year, EC received around, I think, 8,000 applications. Okay, some key points about the postdoctoral fellowships. Firstly, you have to have a PhD in order to participate in this program. So it is really for postdoctoral researchers only, and that's an eligibility criterion for you. To participate, you should have a maximum of 8 years full-time equivalent postdoctoral research experience by the call deadline. The deadline is 11th of September for this year, but every year it's changing. But around September, it closes generally. So that's counted from the PhD award date, but there are some exceptions as well that I will be showing you soon. It's fundamental and international mobility scheme, so you do have to move to another country to be eligible to receive the funding. So either you have to move from Europe to India or from India to Europe, just an example, but as I mentioned before, there are many eligible countries. And essentially, it is a training and career development program through research. So with this program, you propose a concrete research project that you will do, and you integrate your training and career development aspects into that project in order to foster your research career. By the way, I see some questions in the chat box as well, but I will be replying all your questions at the end. No worries about that. Non-academic placements are possible at the end of the project for a period of up to 6 months, as I mentioned, and EC, European Commission, do actively encourage the undertaking of secondment during the implementation of the project. Those can take place worldwide at any institution in the world for a period of up to 1/3 of the project duration. I mean the secondments. We should not mix the non-academic placements and secondments. Those are optional, both of them, but we have to mention this in our projects. Which one we choose, either we choose or we do not choose, we have to mention this while writing our proposals. So let's say 24-month project up to 8 months of that can be spent on secondment, and the durations are, as I already mentioned, up to 24 months for European fellowship and 36 months, up to 36 months for global fellowships, and the non-academic placement can be added on this duration if that is requested. Okay, just to look at the eligibility criteria a little bit more detail, it's a program for postdoctoral researchers, we said, and you must be in possession of a doctoral degree before the call deadline, 11th of September. If your doctoral degree has not been awarded, but you have defended your PhD before the call deadline, then that defense must be unconditional. If there were any changes that were necessary, those must have been completed and accepted before the call deadline, and you would need to be able to prove that if necessary. For what concerns the research experience, there is a maximum of 8 years full-time equivalent postdoctoral research experience counted from, again, the date of award of your PhD. However, the time spent outside of research does not count towards that. So if you have been on a parental leave, maternity leave, I mean, if you have been doing a non-research related job during that period, then it is possible to extend the 8-year period. there is a specific documentation info note that's prepared by European Commission Research Executive Agency, and you can calculate this 8-year period according to this guide. If you cannot find it, just reach me by email. I will give you my email address and I will provide you. Then there is the mobility requirement. So you must not have resided or carried out your main activity in the country of the host institution for a European fellowship, or in the third country host, India, for instance, for the outgoing phase in the case of global fellowship, for more than 12 months in the 36 months immediately before the call deadline. Just to be more clear, if you are leaving Europe to go to India, you must not have resided more than 12 months in the last 36 months immediately before the call deadline. Again, if you are leaving India and going to Europe with European fellowships, you have to just meet this requirement for the country that you are going in Europe. It's also important to note this is not a nationality requirement. You can undertake a fellowship in the country of your nationality as long as you have not been resident in that country for more than 12 months in the last 36 months period immediately before the call deadline. But for global fellowships, there is an additional requirement. If you're not a national of an EU country or associated country, then you must be a long-term resident of an EU or associated countries. Long-term residence is defined as 5 consecutive years of legal and continuous residence within EU or associated country at some point in the past. So this is the main difference for eligibility check for global fellowship, I can say. Okay, secondments are encouraged as part of the project. These are possible anywhere in the world up to 1/3 of the project duration. As I said, you can also have different secondments in different institutions, either academic or non-academic, no matter. If you look at the evaluation criteria, you can see that intersectoral secondments are particularly encouraged, and this can be very useful in terms of career development, knowing that many people doing PhDs and postdocs ultimately will not end up staying in a university environment. But I have to underline that this is optional again. I mean, you're not forced to make secondments, but if you add such a extra secondment, not extra duration, but in your proposal, if you set up a secondment position, it will be nice. I mean, you will have something to say in your proposal because you will see such kind of questions. How will you advance your career? What's your career development plan? So secondments can just, be fruitful periods for your career development. So exposure to activities in the non-academic sector is particularly encouraged as part of the program, and that's also seen in the non-academic placement, NAPS, shortly we say. As I said, this is something that should be an integral part of your proposal, and you cannot add it on later. You have to request it up front when you submit your proposal till 11th of September this year, and it must take place at the end of the normal project, and it has to be in a non-academic institution because it is named as non-academic placement. But secondments can be done either in academia or non-academia. If it is not mentioned in your proposal, then it will be discarded during the evaluation. EC actually confessed that we have heard from REA colleagues that this is not proven to be very popular so far. We are informed that only about 6% of proposals that were received in the past 3 years have been requesting a non-academic placement, and the European Commission is hoping that this number will increase in the future. Okay, just to give you an example here of eligibility and how it works. So for a European fellowship, let's take this example of a researcher with any nationality who was awarded a PhD in 2017 in India. He or she remained resident in India and applied for a European fellowship together with a host institution in Spain, let's say. So if we look at the eligibility here, awarded a PhD before the call deadline, okay, and have less than 8 years research experience since the award of the PhD, and Since he or she is resident in India and have not resided in Spain for more than 12 months in the previous years, on this basis, that researcher is eligible to apply with the host institution in Spain. We can check. Even though she has a Spanish or Indian nationality, it doesn't matter here because this is European fellowship. As I said, it's a physical mobility requirement. It is not about the researcher's nationality for European fellowship. But in the second example, we will see a different situation. Let's take the example of a researcher who is currently living in Spain. They have been there for the previous 3 years. They have a PhD awarded in 2023, and they apply for a global fellowship with a host in Spain and an outgoing phase in India, let's say. I give this specific example, Spain and India, because I know some companies will be providing you hosting opportunities at the end of this session. So the question here is, do they have a PhD before the call deadline? Yes. Is it less than 8 years research experience since the award of PhD? Yes. But are they a long-term resident in the EU associated country, or do they have a nationality? That's the question here that would need to be answered to be eligible for a global fellowship. If not, then this researcher must have been living at least 5 years consecutively in the EU or associated country. That, as I said, that would be the thing that we need to check. Long-term residence is defined as 5 consecutive years of legal and continuous residence within EU or associated country at some point in the past. I have to underline, this is the really important part. Okay, let's check the evaluation part very shortly. It's very large scale program, as we mentioned, which means that the European Commission has a very large scale evaluation. Each proposal is evaluated by at least 3 independent experts. So European Commission has a very large pool of experts that they draw upon to conduct the evaluation. This implies that sometimes they have as many as 4,000 or even more experts that are involved in this evaluation process. It is entirely bottom-up program, so all the scientific disciplines are eligible for funding. That means they are calling upon experts from across all those different disciplines, and they also ensure that there is an appropriate balance of the scientific experience of different nationalities, of different genders, different ages, different sectors of economy. So the expert pool is as broadly representative of the research community as possible. They evaluate the proposals in 8 scientific panels. You can see here the panels very shortly. Indeed, when you submit your proposal, you will be asked to select the panel to which your proposal most closely fits. So that's chemistry, economics, engineering, environmental sciences, life sciences, maths, physics, and social sciences. And it's a single stage evaluation, so no second round. You need to choose one of these panels, and you will see subtopics under those panels, so you can choose the best fit of your research proposal. Okay, and the European Commission commits to get you a funding decision within 5 months of the call deadline, which I think is reasonably fast. If you are then subsequently successful, there's an additional 3-month window for European Commission to sign the grant agreement with your host institution. For global fellowships, there is this host institution in Europe, and Indian institution will be the partner institution. So European Commission will sign the grant agreement with the one located in Europe. So you will leave your European institution to go to India, and then you will come back to the European institution back for 12 months. Okay. I will not give so much detail about that as we have a limited time, but I can tell you that 3 independent experts will be reading your proposal, and then they will give 1 score to you. You will receive an evaluation summary report seeing your weaknesses and strengths in that report, and you will get a score. This score is important because if you cannot get 70 over 100 as a point in this call, you will not be able to submit the same proposal with the same institution for the next year. So this is something that we need to underline. Okay, at the end of the evaluation, the proposals are ranked and the funding is allocated based on the scientific panel. This means, for example, if 20% of the proposals were submitted to social sciences panel, then about 20% of the funding will go to the proposals in social sciences. So there is this balance. And there's a separate ranking for European and global fellowships. As I showed you, the budget for those panels are also different. All proposals that scored 85 points or more receive what we call a seal of excellence. And in some EU member states, actually, seal of excellence are used as a way to provide funding for proposals, but this is something given for European fellowships. So I just wanted to note that one. I mentioned that you need to get over 70 points if you want to submit the same proposal, of course, with a better explanation in the next evaluation, next application year. And you will have a redress procedure where if you do not like the point you got, you can just go to a redress procedure at the end of the year. Okay, let's check also the evaluation criteria. Actually, those evaluation criteria are outlined in the MSc work program. I give the reference below. Generally speaking, okay, excellence part is the main part you need to focus, but I do personally believe that you need to focus each and every section in a very good way, because you need to get around 90 points if you want to get the funding, because the competition is high. But I can tell you that you should focus on the quality and the pertinence of the research objectives of your project, on the methodology, the quality of the supervision, the training and the transfer of knowledge, and then the quality of the appropriateness of the researchers' professional experience, competences and skills. Also, the work plan is asked. Also, how you will disseminate your project results, achievements, how you will communicate and exploit the project's outcomes. Those are all asked in the project template. You will see in 10-page project template different titles and subtitles, and you will fill all those subtitles to prepare your own proposal in a 10-page limit. I will show you how it looks like in part B in a second. But I would like to also tell you that the submission process is all done electronically through the Commission's Funding and Tenders Opportunities portal. When you start your application, you first have to provide your email address, the one of the supervisor, and select the host institution via their PIC number, participant identification code. It's called PIC number. Then there are two different sections. So there is a structured data part, which we call part A. And there is a technical description, the part B, that you will write your proposal and you will upload as a PDF document on this electronic system, Funding and Tenders portal. For the part B, you must use the template available on the call page. Be careful that you're using the current one for the call 2024, because every year it is updated. It's very similar with the previous years, but it's always updated with the new call identifiers. Okay, for the part A, you will need to have an acronym for your project as well as a title, and you will need to select the scientific area and the panel which is the best fit for your proposal. Then select up to 5 descriptors, which, as I said, best characterizes the content of the proposal in descending order of the relevance. The first 3 of those will be linked to the panel that you have selected. The others are unrestricted, and then there will be a space for 3 keywords as well, and where you can also specify additional keywords to describe the content of the proposal. You will also be required to include an abstract. You will be asked whether it is a resubmission or not. You will be all fulfilling these details on the online application forms of part A, I can say. Other data you will need there, obviously, your PhD award date, and you will be asked to complete the table for an extension to that. If your PhD award date was more than 8 years ago, and you will also be required to indicate your country and countries of residence for the past 5 years. For the global fellowships, you need to, of course, add the institution that you are going in the third country, in India, let's say. And if applicable, if you choose an academic placement, you will also add these details on this part. Okay, if it is a global fellowship for the outgoing host, you will be required to indicate the participant information code of that country. I mean, Indian institution, I have to underline that part as well. Let's look at part B as well. This is actually made of 2 documents. Part B1, which is a technical description of the project. There is a page limit of 10 pages, which seems short, but also long. I mean, you have many things to explain, but you have a limited page. But you need to give every tiny detail of your career also. So it takes time. It really takes time. So 2 months, I'm sure if you have not started to draft your proposal, it will take your 2 months actually to finalize your proposal. Just start, please, if you have already chosen your institution to go. Part B1, which is actually the technical description of the project, as I said. Any access pages will not be visible to the evaluator, so they will be discarded. Of course, this could have some impact on your proposal. Font size should be maximum of 11 points. There are those details in the guide for applicants because European Commission is trying to make sure that everybody has the same amount of content in their proposal. Okay. I also have to say that a couple of changes to mention with respect to the last year's templates, the guidance on the use of AI for the preparation of the proposal and how to describe the MSCA Green Charter. There are those kind of things in the new one. Specifically when considering the use of generative artificial intelligence, you are required to verify the accuracy, validity, and appropriateness of the content. Any citations generated by the AI tool, you need to be conscious of the potential of this plagiarism and acknowledge the limitations of the tool, everything, so you will be guided. Okay, and for part B2, there's no formal page limit. Yes, there is some limits for the CV. For instance, it's maximum 5 pages. It includes the CV of the researcher. It also includes the ethics table, security information table if needed, environmental considerations in light of the Green Charter, and also for global fellowships, it's really important, letter of commitment from the outgoing phase you need to add. So if you are leaving Europe to go to India with an Indian institution, if you will do this global fellowship, you need to get a letter of commitment. Please do not leave this job at the very last moment. Take your letter of commitment from the institution that you will be going, you're planning to go with global fellowships. Okay, budget is really important, I know. These are the funding levels under the current work program. They are gross amounts, so you can see that the living allowance is now 5,990 euros. It's increased this year. And this is per month, and this is applicable for this year. But also I have to tell you that there is this correction coefficient, country correction coefficient, CCC, we say. I have noted that Belgium gets the 100% of that budget, but if you go to India, you get the 91.3% of that budget. For Spain, this correction coefficient is 95.6%. For instance, for Turkey, it's 64.5%. In the just last 2 pages of the work program, you will see a big table showing the country correction coefficients of every country. So you can check which country you are choosing. If you're leaving India to go to, Germany, France, anywhere, Turkey, you need to check the CCC of the country. So this living allowance is just, depending on the correction coefficient factor and also its gross amount. So there will be some, some deductions according to the country that you are, like taxes according to the country that you are going. But plus, you receive mobility allowance that everybody receives. You receive the family allowance. Here you can see if you have family obligations, even if they do not move with you, you receive this. Also, then there are institutional unit contributions which are made available for the implementation of your project at the host institution. For research training and networking actions, you have €1,000 per month, and management and indirect contributions, it is €650 per month again. Long-term leave allowance and special needs allowance are applicable if they are needed during the course of the project. Okay, and according to this table, if you are just living 12 months, you can multiply and get your budget for the year. For 36 months, you have to multiply the months with 36, of course. Okay, I have to warn you about some common errors, just very briefly. Don't leave it to the last minute, please, to prepare and to submit your proposal, because every year there are dozens of people that miss the call deadline. As I work as national contact point, I receive many calls on the last day. So don't do that, please. There might be some computer issues, internet connection fails, anything. You can submit your proposal well in advance of the call deadline, and you can edit it and change it right up to the call deadline. Some applicants only uploaded part B at the very last point, as I said, and sometimes they forget to complete part A. Please don't do that. Okay. Sometimes applicants do not respect the basic eligibility requirements that I mentioned because they don't have their PhD before the call deadline. They don't respect sometimes mobility rules of, for example. So please make sure and check that before you apply. If you're eligible or not, please check that with the national contact point of the country that you are going. You can always come and ask me after this presentation. We can discuss. And also, the page limits are really important. And for global fellowships, the letter of commitment is so important. Also, there can be confusion sometimes between what constitutes a secondment and what constitutes a non-academic placement. Also, be careful with that. That's really important. The deadlines are here. You have time till 11th of September. If I have some more time, I would like to really show you some more documentation where you will need. By the way, I have used the slides of Research Executive Agency. Our colleagues over there just presented this us in an info day. So thank you all the presentations, and all the information are updated here. I will be sharing with you all the slides, and I have placed some links about the documentation. I know this is Global Fellow. Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting. I just have to a bit keep an eye on the time, and I'm seeing that we are a bit running late. And we really would like to use the opportunity also for some Q&A with you. And as you said, the slides will be shared with everyone. And I see you have some very important information also still coming up. But maybe we could just, maybe wrap up your presentation and then have a bit of Q&A with you. Yeah, thank you so much.
Just 2 minutes with the slides. I'm passing to the Q&A section.
Perfect, thank you.
Other fellowships, no problem. If you're leaving India to Europe, there are some countries counted as widening countries, like Turkey, for instance, or Estonia, Greece, Hungary, and you can use this ERA fellowships budget to be funded. The information. You can check which projects are funded before. If you want to write a proposal, you can just check what are the funded projects beforehand in 2023 or previous years. I just left the link here. Your access, I don't know if I have to mention or not, but you will see many opportunities under your access. The hosting opportunities, please check these links for the hosting opportunities. All those documentation are located in European Commission and Research Executive Agency's website. I also put some links in my presentation, but work program, also the guide for applicants, the documentation, they are really important to check before. These are colleagues from Turkey. As I said, we are ready your questions. But in every country in Europe, there is one NCP, national contact point, and also in some non-European countries, there are national contact points. Please check the NCPs by year. We have a very nice project, MSCA Net project, and in this project, we are preparing handbooks to help to the applicants. Please check the handbook of this year. It is not published yet, but in a couple of weeks, it's coming. So please check the handbook while writing your proposal. It will help a lot. As TÜBİTAK, we are preparing set of graphs to show you the graphical, the distribution statistics about the call. We will publish it in a couple of weeks again. Just check before it, and FAQ blog might help you again. Here are the links. I will not be mentioning more about your access services. I'm very sure Samrat is working hard in India. I'm very sure you already heard about all those details, but I would like to leave you the slides here if you need any important information there. NCP mobility@tübitak.gov.tr is my email address with my team. Please do not hesitate to send any, eligibility check questions or any personal questions to me. Otherwise, for the general questions, I'm very open to reply now. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you so much, Tuba. Excellent presentation. I'm really glad, you again tapped into some very important features of the call, and you also, of course, highlighted, the aspects of the Global Fellowship. And here, we have always questions coming in from our research community, especially the potential host institution in India. And I would like to start with a few questions. One is the first question, which is still not clear, is what does it mean long-term resident? Like, does the person has to be in Europe at the time of the application, or he has been in Europe and now maybe he's in Canada or somewhere, but can still apply for the Global Fellowship, or he or she has to be based in Europe while applying?
Okay, I will be clear on that point because it's really important, as you said, for global fellowship. If you have a EU country or associated country citizenship nationality, there's no problem. But if you do not have, you need to be the long-term resident of that country, which means that you need to be there for 5 consecutive years of legal and continuous residence within that country that you're applying with at some point in the
means you can be, so, you could have moved on. You could have moved on to another place.
Yeah, but it means that you are Indian or Chinese or Japanese, but you have passed 5 consecutive years in Spain, in Germany, I don't know, in Turkey, wherever you would like to submit your proposal with. So you will be considered as long-term resident, and you need to mark this or mention this in your proposal in the application forms, A forms.
Okay. That makes it clear. Thank you so much. And also another question which we often have, and I would also like to ask Vivek to come in, is the question about, are there any costs for the host institution involved, or everything is covered by the fellowship, by the commission?
Okay. I can show you again the budget table. As I don't know if I underlined it, but this part, contributions for the recruited researcher, this part is the salary of the researcher, living, mobility, and family allowances. But this institutional unit contributions is named as institutional costs, which means that those budgets will be coordinated by the institution. As soon as the researcher and the supervisor needs research saying networking budget, they will ask this budget from the institution, and this management and indirect contribution budget will be used by the institution. This means that the institution will have 650 euros per month to implement this project. And of course, the researcher and the supervisor can ask the institution in terms of management things like how to use this budget, but the institutions actually might have many budgetary issues to implement this proposal. So the 650 euros can be used by the institutions with this budget. But also for global fellowships, there are 2 institutions, as we can see, one in Europe and one in India, let's say. So this budget can be shared between those 2 institutions with a partnership agreement.
Okay. That is good to know. So this there needs to be an agreement, and then this unit cost can be shared between the two institutions for the researcher.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. Vivek, would you like to also come in?
Yeah, actually, I want to just add what and wanted to know from Taiba the clarification, because the Indian entities will be participating as an associated partner. Do they have to sign grant agreement, or the institutional agreement will work?
Grant agreement is signed between European Commission and the host institution in Europe. But the Indian institution, as you mentioned, named as associated partner. So a partnership agreement between these two institutions needs to be seen so that they will implement this project.
Yeah. So that is the interinstitutional agreement. They
Yes.
don't have to oblige. Okay. My second question is regarding the host, associated country host offer. Is there a specific template for the offer letter?
Not. I mean, we can check those posts on your access. I mean, everyone is just posting, I'm looking for a researcher like that. So this can be an example to us. But if you're asking letter of commitment,
Yes.
I mean, there is one at the end of our handbook that we drafted. You can always use that one. I can share with Samrat, and you can just share it with that. Letter of commitment is a must.
Yeah. So these are the two questions, but I leave it with others to have any other questions to continue.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, thank you so much, Vivek. I'm seeing also in the Q&A there are questions which I think are more like general questions and more related to the European fellowship. Like maybe we can pick it up because I think it has some kind of interest. Is like let's say I'm an Indian researcher and I want to do my I'm based in Europe. No, sorry, I'm an Indian researcher. I just completed my PhD. I'm applying for a European fellowship to go to Europe. Can I do my secondment back in India at my institution where I graduated from?
Oh, yes, there is no restriction about that. Of course, you need to explain why you are doing this secondment and what will add on your career. In your proposal, you will explain this, but there's no restriction. You can make your secondment in an academic, non-academic place, in anywhere you wish.
And the European fellowship is 2 years. The global fellowship is 3 years because there's a mandatory return phase, right?
That's right. That's right. The mandatory return phase is 12 months sharp. You cannot deduct, or extra time is not possible, but 12, that's for sure.
But the placement is another 6 months after the fellowship.
Yes, non-academic placement is an additional period after your project.
And do I have to mention? Sorry, yes. Do I have to mention that already in the proposal that I'm planning to, or can it come while I'm conducting my research and then I think, okay, it would be good to do a placement after, or I have to do it in the proposal already? It has to be mentioned.
Yes, you have to mention it in your proposal, and the evaluators will read and evaluate it.
Okay. Okay. Okay. I think we have covered quite of the most important questions there. I'm sure there are much more questions out there. Tupa, maybe we can continue writing the questions in the Q&A. And Tupa, if you have the chance to look at them,
and I can reply. Sure, I can do that.
And of course, Tupa has shared her contact details. If you have specific questions about the fellowship, or you're interested, maybe to come to Turkey for that fellowship, or you have general questions, she's very helpful in providing answers with her colleagues. And also, of course, our Indian institutions and European institutions who are here today to pitch their offer, their interest, of course, can also reach out, with any particular questions to Tupa, to Dr. Vivek Dham from the EU delegation, or to Euraxis India. I would say now that we move on to the next part of the session, which is presenting potential hosting offers from Indian and European institutions. And I'm very, very happy to welcome our first presenter, Dr. Krishna Sri Achutan, Dean of Postgraduate Programs from Amrita University in South India. Dr. Krishna Sri, it's a great pleasure to have you, have Amrita University with us, and we would be very happy to know about your university and what kind of offer would be there for a European postdoctoral researcher. And I would ask you to share your slides, please.
Yes.
And while Dr. Krishna is putting up her screen, I kindly request all the presenters upcoming to please keep the time limit in mind. We want to, be as concise as possible so that we don't overstretch the webinar and the patience of our attendees. But I'm very happy that we have so many interesting presentations coming up. Okay, Dr. Krishna, thank you. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Dr. Samrat, and I really thank your access for this wonderful opportunity to share the highlights of Amrita Vishwavidyapitham to all of you that are thinking, planning to be back in India. So this is actually a picture of our main campus in Coimbatore, and I'll talk a little bit about where we are. So at a high level, we have close to 9 campuses today. One of it is virtual, some of them in South India and one in North India. But in general, the university is multidisciplinary in nature. And the 3 core vision of the university is to really provide education for life, which really goes beyond just a degree and involves important values so that we can create a generation of graduates that are not only trained in technical skills, but also in part are role models and leaders in societies they choose to go back to. The secondly is of course, compassion-driven research. One thing unique about the university is the fact that our chancellor is a humanitarian, and so much of what we do are extremely ground-level problems that we can take up to solve. And thirdly, of course, global impact, and Amrita is a global institution today with students from 40+ countries studying at different campuses across Amrita. From a global stance perspective, today we are ranked as the 81st best university in the world when it comes to impact rankings. And what does it really mean? It really means that we actually address the sustainable development goals in as much breadth and depth as possible. And you can see here the specific rankings in terms of quality education, good health and well-being, clean water, sanitation, gender equality, and also industry and infrastructure that is not shown here. From a national perspective, we are ranked as the 7th best university as per the national ranking framework, and we also have 2 UNESCO chairs that are part of the granted by UNESCO. Bit more detail, like I mentioned, quality education is one of the most important aspects of the university, and what that translates to is high quality students, researchers, etc., to be able to work with. Very recently, in 2024, we also got a recognition from Times Education to have contributed outstandingly to environmental leadership. In terms of what we do and our global footprint, we do collaborate with the best of institutions across the world, and this really opens the gateway to our students and faculty and researchers to be able to not only leverage the resources we have, but also to be able to connect to the topmost institutions in the world. So today, distance is really not the barrier. We actually often have our researchers and students and postdocs go across different continents to be able to do specific things. At the end of the day, the quality of work is what counts. And so whatever it takes to be able to provide that, we go ahead and do it here. We have, in fact, if there is one metric where Amrita stands out across India, surpassing even the topmost institutional country, it would be in terms of number of full-time international faculty working at Amrita. So extremely international in nature. And we recommend all of our researchers work hand in hand with at least one or two globally recognized researchers in their particular area of work. So this is just a handful of the European partner institutions we work with. In fact, we have different levels of engagement with every one of them. We even have several joint centers of excellence with some of them where particular areas of research are really looked at in detail. And this is, I believe, most of the European countries are covered from this slide. I think we also care about what we do from an innovation research perspective. I think we've often been awarded for excellence in looking at what types of contributions we have made to the society, what type of innovations we have brought out on a year-to-year basis. And that is what those are outcomes of our faculty infrastructure and industry collaborations as well. Some of these numbers are a bit off, maybe outdated, but these, when it comes to research funding, international publications, research citations, we tend to add thousands and thousands of these on a year-to-year basis. And some of the innovations have also been recognized internationally by organizations such as the United Nations. I think one of the most important aspects of the university is the fact that we have interdisciplinary research centers, and our multidisciplinary research centers play a very, very crucial role in actually advancing knowledge, fostering innovation, and also addressing very complex real-world challenges. So these centers actually bring together experts from diverse fields and disciplines to be able to collaborate, share ideas, and work collectively towards solving these kinds of multifaceted problems. So you can see whether you're looking at science, whether you're looking at social sciences or advanced physical sciences, management, looking at medical, engineering, all of these kinds of interdisciplinary fields are very much covered in our centers, you could say. Just giving you a glimpse, I'm not going to go over each of them, but just to give you an eye chart of the various different centers that work hand in hand with institutions worldwide, from material sciences to computational engineering thinking, even quantum computing, some of the areas that we are actually focused on. So digital health, et cetera, et cetera. And so these are some of the joint centers we have at various different European universities. So these have special arrangements for exchange of faculty, students, and researchers, and specific funding also instituted towards them. Finally, I think our heart is where sustainable development goals are set at. And so we do look at some of those pillars in large ways. And again, I'm just running through these slides just to give you a glimpse of the types of projects, the types of universities that are associated with different projects, etc. And I think, these are some basic aspects of what we will be providing all of our visiting researchers. And so we are very, very happy to have any of you here in different areas of specialization. And this is the contact point. If you want to note this down, please do so. And we'll be happy to engage with you. Thank you. And I think I have kept my time.
Excellent, Dr. Krishnashree. Thank you so much, for presenting this your amazing institution and the landscape of excellent research and the infrastructure, and also the contact point for European researchers if they are interested, not only coming under the MSCA, but also in other capacity. That's very good to know, like where to reach out to. Thank you so much. And we are moving to our next presenter. Our next university is Ashoka University. So we're going a bit north of India. And here we have Dr. Anurag Agarwal. He's the head of the Goethe Center for Digital Health and the Dean for Biosciences and Health Research. Dr. Anurag, it's a real pleasure to have you with us. Thank you so much. And I see your slides are already up. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. So I'll be telling you a bit about Ashoka University. In many ways, it's a pleasure to hear Dr. Krishna. So in some ways, we are the prototypical small liberal arts university, the first private university of its kind, built on the principles of co-founding philanthropy. It's one of the few places in India where social sciences and natural sciences come basically harmonically together. We are not really into professional education, and the focus is primarily on the sciences, whether you think of it from the social side or from the natural side. Despite being a private university, it's a very diverse place with over 20 countries on campus, with every state about 200 to 500 different locations across India. And we have tie-ups with a large number of people around the world. While it has been better known as a great place for undergrad education, with time, science and research has taken front. And this is just a small timeline. We are very, very young. In fact, we just completed our 10 years. At this point, we have about 3,000 students and about 500 full-time faculty and staff. Again, like I said, while teaching has been historically what Ashoka has been known for, and when I say historically, is a really small piece of history, there's a very strong emphasis on research, and again, starting at every level. And while not necessarily relevant to a PDF, I would like to point out that we run, for example, a program called the Lotha Genius Program, where people identified even at school age are brought in the summer around the country to stay at Ashoka. And absolutely the top researchers of the world come on campus. So it's a very vibrant campus with young people from around the nation coming in, of course, undergrads, school children, and of course, docs and postdocs. We have 14 interdisciplinary centers. I will not name all of them. But the key again of Ashoka has been interdisciplinarity. These are already our listed pure science majors. We also have plenty of comp science plus X. There is an industry orientation track being co-founded by a large number of people from industry. We realized that whether doctoral or postdoctoral, a critical value addition to many people is towards the future jobs market. And we have a very strong focus on societal issues and real life problems through a Center for Good Governance, by which every district in Haryana, the state in which we are located, right next to Delhi, is served by somebody from Ashoka, giving us great contact from ideas to deployment on the ground. Labs are there at every level. I will not show you too many on this, but I'll point out that the type of questions you can address at Ashoka are very, very wide-ranging. At one end on the social sciences, we've done fantastic work in economics. Ashoka is probably one of the strongest economics departments in the country. Looking at participation of female labor force, to very strong physics. Some of the top astrophysicists of the country are at Ashoka, how to measure time in a different ways. In fact, if you were a historian who wanted to go to sites to answer questions like, did ancient Indians eat cows and drink goat's milk versus eat goats and drink cow's milk, mass spectrometry of pottery fragments from ancient digs that are happening around the campus would help you answer such questions. So this is the first place that I've seen truly interdisciplinary history plus biology plus chemistry type of research occurring. So the palette is very, very wide. Very recently, we have now started 2 buildings that are now completed, the Trivedi School of Biosciences and the Ashoka Innovation Center. In fact, the Ashoka Innovation Center that you view is the backside of the Trivedi School of Biosciences, connected by walkways. Our expectation is that people who want to innovate, start companies, there is a common place, almost 200,000 square feet, where you can do your science and come across. New schools, like the School of Physical Sciences and the School of Advanced Computing, are under construction. Multiple centers, including the Quetta Center for Digital Health, with a very strong focus on AI, IT, and genomics towards health, are also being started. It's a strong global footprint. We are a member of the Global Humanities Initiative. We have 50 plus partner universities, and we have strong European partnerships, including the top names within Europe. The values of Ashoka are diversity and inclusion. So it's a great campus to be on. You will find many things that you like about Europe are mirrored and echoed on the Ashoka campus. Like I said, research infrastructure is strong. And I think with that, I'm just about probably completing time. I will end by simply pointing out that coming to Ashoka would offer you some very nice views across the humanities and the sciences in a very compact, integrated ways, in a great campus to live on, purely residential. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Anurag. It has been like truly fascinating to see, your presentation and what Ashoka actually symbolizes and the emphasis, on the humanities, on the liberal arts, and I think that's a great appeal to many, I think, researchers in Europe who are, working in similar scientific disciplines and fields, and we hope, that more and more European researchers will reach out to Ashoka in the coming days, weeks, months. That's great to know. Thank you so much, Dr. Anurag. And we will move to our next presenter, which is Dr. Marcos Jose Alvarez. He's the program manager of the CoFund Ramon Llull IRA program at the Computer Vision Center in Spain. Very good noon to you, Dr. Alvarez. Thank you so much for joining, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon. I hope you can hear me well.
Yes.
And that you can see my presentation. Okay.
Just if you could put it in presentation mode. It's visible,
yeah.
but not in full screen.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. So thank you very much again for the invitation. I'm representing CVC, which is the Computer Vision Center located in Barcelona. And I'm going to describe today who we are, what can we offer, and also some hosting opportunities that are already open at CVC at this moment. So CVC, the Computer Vision Center, is a non-for-profit research center established in 1995 by the regional government of Catalonia in Spain and the Autonomous University of Barcelona. The CVC is also part of the group of CERCA, which is the group of centers of excellence in research based in Catalonia. Our mission is to carry out cutting-edge research in the field of computer vision, which is, as you probably know, one of the branches of artificial intelligence that allows computers to extract information from images and videos. We also promote the transference of knowledge to industry and society, and we strive to prepare and form researchers of the highest European level. Now we are close to our 30th anniversary, as I said before, and we are in well positioned in the field of computer vision. For instance, in the latest update of the Stanford University's global ranking, 5 of our researchers have been recognized within the 2% of scientists with the greatest influence in the field. So if we go more into detail on the thematic areas that we cover, you can see a broad range of topics within computer vision, going from basic research on biological vision to color science, to also vision and language, so also vision in relation to other fields, but also to higher level applications such as medical imaging, document intelligence, learning and machine perception, and more recently, quantum computing. Maybe you are familiarized with Horizon Europe, maybe not. this is another categorization to show that we cover the 6 clusters in which Pillar 2 of Horizon Europe is organized. So we are involved in projects on health and well-being, which is part of Cluster 1. Also on culture, Cluster 2. So as I said before, handwriting recognition, document analysis, and so on and so forth. As you can imagine, computer vision has also many applications in civil security, also in digital and industry, mobility. We are very strong on autonomous vehicle, as you will see later, and also we have being involved in projects on agri-food and environment because we do a lot of spectral imaging. So to talk about a little bit about our infrastructures, so we have our own building with more than 2,000 square meters dedicated exclusively to computer vision, located in the outskirts of Barcelona, in the campus of Bellaterra, belonging to the Autonomous University of Barcelona. And we are the core of a very dynamic ecosystem because very close to us, we have first level research centers like the Spanish Council for Research Center on AI, on nanotechnology, etc. So very often we work very closely with them. And I will show an example of this later on. We have a vibrant and collaborative working environment, and well, our facilities, as you can see in the picture below on the right, are prepared for that. So related to the more technical stuff, as I said, we have very good facilities in relation to research on the autonomous car. We have also very good facilities for color assessment, for perception assessment. Of course, we have in-house GPU facilities to perform the work, but also if necessary, we have access to larger supercomputing infrastructure like the Mare Nostrum supercomputer, which is the biggest in Spain and in Southern Europe, through our collaboration with the Barcelona Supercomputing Center. So in regards to the postdoctoral fellowships, as described before earlier, there's an open call on postdoctoral fellowships. So we are collecting expressions of interest for hosted fellowships at CVC. So we are looking either for global fellowships on the return phase or for European fellowships. So in the link below, you can see our internal procedure to apply for a fellowship. So we are collecting these expressions of interest till the 30th of June, but if you are interested and you don't think you will meet this deadline, please drop me an email and we will find a way to support you and to help you with the submission. The rest of the important dates are very much related to the call as shown in the first presentation today, so I'm not going into much detail. You will see, clicking on this link, that there's a topic on quantum computing, very well described. But if you have any other topics related to CVC activity, this can also be applied for, let's say. So this is our list of IPs where you can be the summary of topics they working and the fields of application. So if any of these topics is of interest for you, don't hesitate to express your interest. Well, another opportunity I would like to highlight, which is not strictly a postdoctoral fellowship, but it's very closely related because it's also a Marie Curie action. It's another type of action. It's a co-fund program, but it's also a postdoctoral, well, it provides postdoctoral fellowships. So it's very similar to the ones that have been described so far. So this is a large initiative where the CVC is the coordinator. In fact, I'm going to be the person that will coordinate this program. So we are going to offer 33 three-year fellowships in Catalonia on artificial intelligence. So this doesn't mean that CVC will host all the 33, but different research centers in Catalonia. So in our case, it will be 3. So we are opening a call for the first 17 fellowships very shortly. I cannot tell you the exact date, but it will be during the month of July. And we will have a website up and running for very shortly to collect the applications. So this is a brief summary of the offer of topics, but this list will be extended and we are reviewing it. So this was our offer when the proposal was submitted and when the grant agreement was signed, but we are updating this to offer more topics, more possible topics. And as I told you, stay tuned because the first open call for this program will open very shortly. So if you have any doubts or interest on this or about any other topics related to the postdoctoral fellowships I described before, don't hesitate to drop me an email to the address you can find here, or you can call me. And well, I will clarify your questions or help you with your submission of your research project. Many thanks, and that's it from our side.
Thank you so much, Dr. Alvarez, for this very interesting presentation about the center and the offers you have under the Marie Curie, looking for European fellows, but also for the Global Fellowship program. So we really hope, you will have, people contacting you after the webinar and, and taking this step forward with you. Thank you so much. And we move to our next presenter, which is Dr. Vijay Kumar Krishnamurthy, Associate Professor at the International Center for Theoretical Sciences in India. Dr. Vijay Kumar, very good afternoon. Sir, thank you so much for your time. And please, if you could kindly share your screen. Yeah, okay, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Dr. Samrat. Hello, everyone. So I'm Vijay Kumar at the International Center for Theoretical Sciences. So we are located in South India, in Bangalore. So the photograph that you're seeing is an actual photograph of the campus. You see we are located in very lush green surroundings with a small campus of about 20 acres in size. I want to tell you a bit about the institute. So we're part of the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, which is located, the main institute in Mumbai, but has centers in Bangalore. The National Center for Biological Sciences and the Center for Applicable Mathematics are some of the centers in Bangalore apart from us. So we are a multi and interdisciplinary center, 3 main goals. The goals are research, programs, and outreach. So research, which I'll speak about in more detail later on, comprises of in-house research of the highest quality across mathematics and all the natural sciences. Programs, which are like a unique selling point for our institute. These are high-quality visitor-driven programs in mathematics and the sciences. The format of these programs is analogous to those at the Kavli Institute of Theoretical Physics or the Simon Laufer Mathematical Sciences Institute, formerly the MSRA Institute in Berkeley. So we host about 35 to 40 programs in a year. So these are basically scientific conferences, discussion meetings, pedagogical schools across all branches of mathematics and natural sciences. The third component of the center is outreach. So we conduct plenty of outreach activities. The goal is to have impactful public outreach activities ranging from the level of school children to the general public. And there's plenty of opportunities for younger researchers, students, and postdocs to be involved in many of our outreach activities as well. Research areas. So we don't have departments in our center, but a broad classification is about mathematical sciences and physical and natural sciences. In mathematics, we have plenty of researchers who work across applied and computational mathematics, computer science, geometry and physical mathematics, and probability theory. In physics and natural sciences, we have colleagues who work on astrophysics and relativity, biological physics, condensed matter and statistical physics, fluid dynamics and turbulence, string theory, and quantum gravity as well. So the disciplines are fluid. Many of us talk to each other. We collaborate with each other, but with also other centers in Bangalore and across India. Just to point out that I'll keep showing photographs of our campus as the background, so you get a sense of how good the campus is. We have strong PhD and postdoc programs at our center. So the PhD program is, of course, part of the graduate program of the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research. So we take roughly about 20 students or so per year. And at any point of time, there's roughly about 100 students on campus who are doing their PhD. Additionally, we have PhD programs, which are joint PhD programs with other centers of the TIFR. We have the Physics of Life PhD program with NCBS. We also have a joint program in applied and computational mathematics with the Center for Applicable Mathematics. We also have a strong postdoc program. This is funded by the institute itself. So there are 2 cycles for hiring, the summer and the fall cycles. And at any point of time, there's about 25 postdocs spread across our various areas of research on the campus. So here's a photograph. Here's a poster for the current call for the 2025 cycle, for the summer cycle of 2025. You'll find this on our website as well. And that's something, a very exciting program. Many of our postdocs have gone on to faculty positions in India and across the world as well. We have excellent infrastructure and facilities. There's a very well-equipped library. You can see a photograph on the right, high-end computational facilities with very good clusters and parallel computing facilities. Perhaps more importantly is a very vibrant environment with scientific meetings that are held throughout the year, and also a very strong visitors program that attracts people from the entire globe. So we're pretty well connected to the greater Bangalore scientific community and also across the whole country as well. The campus itself is quite self-contained. So there's housing on campus, off campus. There's a very good sports center. There's childcare facilities for families, a first aid center, and of course, a very excellent and helpful support staff, which make the process very, very smooth. So these are the groups at our center who are willing to host a global fellow. And these are the contact point details. People in mathematics and various sciences have put in their names. So you're welcome to contact any of them, write to them, find out more about their research interests. But you can also write to our director, to our academic dean, or even to our academic office. So here's another beautiful photograph of the institute. You can also go to the website that has most of the details that are required. Feel free and don't hesitate to get in touch with us should you need any more information. Thank you. I'll stop there.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vijay Kumar. Very impressive campus, looks amazing, and also the vibrant research community you're presenting, and also the people who would be interested to host a fellow, and the contact points are very important for our attendees to know. Thank you so much, Dr. Vijay Kumar. And we stay in Bangalore and we go to our next presenter, which is Professor Rajesh Kumar. He's the Dean Academics at the National Center for Biological Sciences. Very good afternoon, sir. Thank you for taking the time. And I see your presentation is already up. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And thank you, Vijay, for introducing TIFR. So NCBS is a center of the Tata Institute for Fundamental Research. We're the National Center for Biological Sciences. And so the research mandate for NCBS is biology across scales. We work on anything to do with biology, from atoms, theory. We have a very wonderful theory program that we share with ICTS. We go to molecules, cells, tissues, organs, up to ecosystems, and so on. And so the idea is to work on biology across scales. Some of the most important pressing questions facing humanity are biological. And so the aim is to work on some of these questions to aid things like biodiversity, climate change, health and disease, and so on. I'm going to skip through the faculty here. All faculty are willing to take Global Fellows. Just in the interest of time, I'm just going to skip through them. We have excellent faculty, especially in theory and modeling of biological systems. Vijay already mentioned the Physics of Life PhD program that we have. And so I think one of our strengths is a very interdisciplinary and collaborative approach to research questions in biology that includes theory as well. NCBS has a huge amount of, has excellent facilities. We have a fantastic animal house, mouse genome engineering, so we make transgenics, a central imaging facility, so we have around 20 confocal microscopes, three high-resolution STED-type microscopes, 8 flow cytometers. We have an electron microscopy facility with a scanning and transmission EM, cryo-EM, mass spec, and so on. You can see the list of facilities that we have here, which really will aid in anyone's research. And probably it's the only place that has the capacity and capability to absorb cutting-edge technologies and make it available to Indian science. And so our facilities are renowned throughout India, and it's used by about 200 institutions in India. Why should you come to NCBS? Why should you come to Bangalore? Bangalore does have very good weather. Every Bangalorean will tell you this. We also have a very strong IT industry, and it has a large educated migrant community, young migrant community. And so if you're coming on your own to do a postdoc with particular interests and hobbies, likely there's a group of people in Bangalore who share the same hobbies. We have dedicated staff in our academic office that will navigate visas, post-entry FRR approvals. We have a RDO, Research Development Office, that will help liaise and set up some of the paperwork that's needed for Marie Curie Fellows. And we have fantastic support staff who will help you set up home in Bangalore. We have large studio apartments on campus. We can provide 2-bed, 3-bed apartments in faculty housing blocks just off campus for postdocs with families. We have a creche for kids of 6 months and upwards, and we have an on-campus clinic as well. And so in terms of life and living, we can help you take a running start to get off the starting blocks very quickly when you're here. We're part of what's called the Bangalore Biocluster, and so on the same campus we have 2, now 3 more institutes. So as well as NCBS, which is looking at fundamental research, we have INSTEM, which is tackling questions in translational biology. We have TIGS, Tata Institute for Genetics and Society, not shown here, that's recently joined the Bangalore Biocluster, which is tackling biological questions with societal relevance. And we have CCAMP, which is our incubator platform, which helps develop entrepreneurship and tech transfer if you're thinking about applying some of your research to industry. That's it. We have just made a video for the academic program, which I think shows off the campus much better than I could explain it, and really does emphasize the vibrancy of NCBS, where we have kind of outreach programs which teach and learn. We have kind of events where students and postdocs and sometimes faculty are making fools of themselves. We have a sports facility and really a very vibrant and dynamic campus. So with that, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Rajesh. A very nice presentation, and also the video showing this beautiful campus and how vibrant and dynamic it is. I myself have been to NCBS, and I can just confirm. And it has an excellent research center and the biocluster also. I think it's a very exciting place, and Bangalore itself is very exciting place for international researchers. So please, keep that in mind. You have NCBS there. You have also the ICTS there in Bangalore. So if you are interested to come to India, of course, there are plenty of options as we have seen already so far. But we're not at the end. We also have a few more presentations left, and I really like to welcome our next presenter, which is Ms. Harshita Tripathi. She's Senior Manager at the Office of Research and Partnerships at Shiv Nadar Institution of Eminence, deemed to be university. We are back from the south of India. We're going back to the north. Very good afternoon, Harshita. Thank you so much for joining, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Samrat. Very warm welcome to all the participants, the doctoral scholars who are attending from different parts of the world. We at Shiv Nadar Institution of Eminence, as Samrat mentioned, are located very close to the capital city of India. So we are an hour away from New Delhi. And this is the youngest institution of eminence. Institution of eminence basically was a kind of a tag or a kind of a trophy basically given by the government of India. They chose 10 public, 10 private universities in India, and the only mandate was to excel. The idea was that we come in the global world as the top universities from India. Shiv Nadar Institution of Eminence take pride in saying that we are the youngest chosen institution of eminence. We have completed 12 years, and we were awarded IOE in the year of 2022. Currently, we have 4 schools on campus. We have schools of humanities and social sciences, school for engineering, management and entrepreneurship, and school for natural sciences. The total number of students is currently 3,400 and odd, and at any peak time, we are not going to be more than 5,000 students on campus. That's a conscious choice made by our senior leaders, where we want to have more impact in what we do rather than just having the numbers. So we have like a big, huge campus to all of us who stay here. I stay on campus and I love the fact that it's so green and nice. It's a fully residential university, which basically means that you have a vibrant student body. You have a lot of activities, clubs and societies on campus, which keeps you engaged and engaged. This is a research-focused multidisciplinary university, and you'll see as we come more towards the presentation how each department speaks to itself and the interdisciplinary researchers and collaborations happening within the university as we do with outside universities and partners. This is a bit of research snapshot because here we are talking about MSCA and the fellowship. So I thought it's better if we give you an insight of how the research atmosphere at Shiv Nadar is. Now, when you look at these numbers, please consider this is from 2011 onwards, right? So it's just a decade old. We have currently 400 odd doctoral students. Most of our doctoral students comes from School for Engineering and School for Natural Sciences. The postdoctoral program was initiated in 2022 when we became an IOE, and today we have 21 postdoctoral students with us. So far, 34 patents have been filed and 22 patents have been granted. So we're looking for more innovations coming on campus and how do we really commercialize those and translate those in the market space. There are 5 very active research centers, and if you look at those, you'll understand it ranges from both humanities and social sciences to technical research and engineering and sciences. Say, for example, something like Center of Excellence in Himalayan Studies is somewhere we have a culmination of sociology, international relations, water sciences, climate change, all of those coming and bringing together. So if you're on campus and if you happen to be on campus, you kind of get an opportunity to work in each of these research centers if there's an interest. Here's a brief snapshot of the faculty members their details from each school who are keen to host a postdoc fellow on campus. And what we have done is we have categorized them into the departments, and we have mentioned their research interest, a very broad research interest. So if any of them excites you, then I recommend and I strongly suggest that you do visit the website, because it's very difficult to give a snapshot of a university's 12 years journey in just 7-8 minutes. But visit the website, because there you'll get more insights of the work done by each faculty members over here. So we have natural sciences, chemistry, mathematics, life sciences, and physics. And then we have School for Engineering, under which you will find electrical engineering and mechanical engineering, where faculty members are willing to host. We have more departments in engineering, but the list you have on your slides is basically where the faculty members are keen to host the postdoc researchers. Apart from this, this is a brief culmination, or rather a brief summary of the partnerships and engagement activities we have in terms of research. Do visit these website links, because this will give you quite a detailed experience of the initiatives we have had in terms of research, the kind of labs, infrastructure, and facilities we have. We are probably the only, or maybe a very few universities who publishes reports on every SDGs, all 17 SDGs every year. So you can check our SDG reports on the website. These are our current international academic research partners. There's a lot of research partnerships which is happening at domestic level. What you see on your slides are mostly at the international level, which have been listed. So please check these website links for more insights. Because we are a residential university, we try and ensure that we have all kinds of facilities for our students, staff, faculty members who stay on campus. And this is just a glimpse of what we have to offer. Interesting enough, we have a golf course and horse riding to ourselves, which you can enjoy while you're here. There's a dedicated wellness center, post office, a bank, a library, all of these one can imagine. So it's like a mini world in itself the moment you step into the campus. At the end, I'd just wrap up and say that Shiv Nadar Institution of Eminence is very open to welcome students from any part of the world, and we would love to have more researchers coming in case you have any queries and contact. Here are the details, and feel free to reach out to us. Thank you, Samrat.
Thank you so much, Harshita, for this very great presentation about Shiv Nadar. The opportunities which are there, the great campus you have, and the excellent facilities. So please reach out to Ms. Harshita and her team if you are interested, as a European postdoctoral researcher, to come and spend time on their campus at their university. Thank you so much. And we we go to our next presenter, which is Dr. Ruchika. She is the director of the Symbiosis Center for Research Innovation at the Symbiosis International University. Very good afternoon to you, Dr. Ruchika. I hope you are with us.
Yeah, I am here only. I am just sharing the
Perfect.
slide.
Yeah, please.
Share. Can you see it?
Yeah, we can see it. Just you have to move up to the first slide. We're seeing now slide number 6.
1 second. Okay, so can you see this presentation?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, ma'am. The floor is yours. Thank you.
So, okay, thank you so much. Symbiosis, and from Symbiosis International University. So, the motto for university is "World is one family," which in Sanskrit is called Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We have been imparting quality education for more than 50 years. We have campuses in 4 states, 6 cities in India. And recently we have started in Dubai also. And they all epitomize the vision of our university, that is to promote international understanding through quality education. We have over 40,000 Indian students, and international students are from more than 85 countries across the globe. So we believe in diversity and inclusion, integrity and honesty, transparency and accountability, social commitment, and gender equity. So rankings, if we see, this is the slide. I hope these slides will be shared with the participants. Is it that?
Yeah.
These slides
Yes.
are so you
Yeah.
can see our rankings also. I will not go into details. Then these are the 8 different faculties we have: management, law, humanities and social sciences, engineering, computer studies, media and communication, architecture and design, medical and health sciences. We have state-of-the-art research centers, 13 are there, which are listed here. So, Symbiosis Center for Research and Innovation is the R&D cell of the university. I am the director here. We run the PhD program across all the 8 faculties, and we maintain the publication records. We are publishing only in Scopus and Web of Science journals. And till date, you can see we have around 1287 PhD students enrolled, 86 last year were awarded. And we have projects sanctioned around, you can see the euro figure from government, non-government and private agencies. Our total publications till date are 10,325 with 72,500 citations and 95 H-index. So we have published 44 patents, 10 granted. Then social sciences and humanities, these are the one of the faculties there. We have 4 schools here: School of Economics, Liberal Arts, International Studies, and Statistical Institute. And these are various disciplines they are dealing with. They have Erasmus Jean Monnet chair program also. And Dr. Jyoti Chandiramani is the Dean faculty. So we have, among the research centers, she's also heading the Symbiosis Center for Urban Studies. You can see the trust areas: urban finance, climate change, urban mobility, etc. is given here. And funding is also there from different national, international organizations. So we have the Center for Climate Change and Sustainability with the different thrust areas like carbon sequestration, climate change and biodiversity. You can go through it, the students here who are present. They can go through this. We have Center for Behavioral Studies with the focus and thrust areas on eye tracking studies, branding and consumer behavior, social media analytics, machine learning, AI, research and behavioral domain in any stream. Then we have been recently awarded last year with Dr. Ambedkar Chair. So 20 chairs till now in India have been awarded. So this is the objectives are to study and propagate Dr. Ambedkar's philosophy and create educational programs which will showcase a comprehensive approach for understanding and research in this field. We have a Center for Advanced Legal Studies and Research, and Dr. Shashikala Gurpur heads this, and they have a lot of research they have done. This is the funding: international grants from Eurasia. You can see from DAAD, Jean Monnet chairs, they are doing Spark projects they have. Then Symbiosis Center for Artificial Intelligence, it is headed by Dr. Ketan Kotecha, who is Dean Engineering. And you can see the different domains for AI in research, consultation and training. We are having these, you can add the lower panel, you can see the collaboration with different international and national agencies. So these are their achievements: publications till date 302, research grants 13 plus crores Indian rupees, I'm saying. So then we have Symbiosis Center for Waste Resource Management. These are the work domains, their application areas: renewable energy, health and biotechnology, environmental remediation, resource conservation and circular economy, sustainability and community development. We are going well with the SDGs, which are written in, at the end. So we have Symbiosis Center for Nanoscience and Nanotechnology. Dr. Atul Kulkarni heads this department. You can see they are going into different domains: energy conservation and storage, healthcare technologies, pollutant detection and monitoring. We have Symbiosis Center for Medical Image Analysis, which are in various thrust areas like neuroimaging, neuroscience, etc. We have a hospital here, and they have active collaboration with the radiology team and all. So this hospital is a 900-bedded hospital, and we have active collaboration going on. You can see the CMI, that is the Medical Image Analysis Center. They have collaborations with different international organizations and universities. We have Symbiosis Center for Stem Cell Research. The focus areas are neuroregeneration and hematopoiesis, biomaterials and tissue engineering, infertility and endometriosis, pluripotent stem cell differentiation, and epigenetics. Then we have Symbiosis Fellow Biological Sciences. These are the thrust areas which have been enlisted here, and the different collaborators they have across the world with publication record, funding, and Erasmus Plus fundings and collaborations as well. Other initiatives which we take, we have collaboration with different industries, with even government agencies which have not been listed here. We also give support to industries for technology transfer and all. And very interesting is the scope Symbiosis Community Outreach Program and Extension, where we have adopted 32 villages around our location. We are in Lavli, Pune. And so here we are providing education, sanitation, and waste management and healthcare related facilities to the villages, providing drinking water, which is treated wastewater for agriculture as well. So this is just a small glimpse of different infrastructure we have. These are the departments we have: library resources, classrooms, seminar halls, infrastructure for e-content development, general campus facilities and ambience, and eco-friendly practices. These are enlisted. So we have sustainability and energy conservation here. We have around 400 acres of land, which is here, and this is located it's like a hilly area, you can say. We have solar panels, we have water reservoir, biogas plant, water segregation. The scope I was telling, how we are giving support to the villages. These are just pictures, awareness programs, then medical aid for Varkaris. These are the people which go to the temples during a big festival here. Then this is among students, mobility vans are there teaching them. Here you can see digital literacy lab, biodiversity in our campus, you can see here. We have a butterfly garden also here. So thank you. Sorry for going at such a fast pace, but I think our time is really very less. That's why I just went through it. But anyway, you are giving to other students. They can go through these slides.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ruchika, presenting Symbiosis, the excellent research centers you have, the facility, also showing, the biodiversity of the campus. And also it's good to hear that you have already ongoing collaboration with EU programs, with Erasmus, and hopefully, in the future, there will be some Marie Curie collaborations also coming. Thank you so much. And we go to our last but not least speaker of today, Dr. Jagannath Mandal, Associate Professor at the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research in Hyderabad in the south of India. Dr. Jagannath, thank you so much. Very good afternoon, and the floor is yours.
Yeah, so can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So thank you, Dr. Samrat, for giving us this opportunity to present, TFR Hyderabad's, research and the possible, hosting of postdoctoral positions in these global fellowships. So briefly, this is basically the building that I'm showing, which is the major building of TFR Hyderabad. So we essentially a part of TFR family. Our center started much later than the other institutes, but essentially, in our main campus, we have already started our research since 2019, and it is going in a very fast scale as far as the research and development is concerned. So we already the start of the high class start of the lab, state of the lab, at the same time we also have very nice hostels, and the most importantly that we are located right at the heart of the Hyderabad, which is very well connected from airport. The Hyderabad International Airport is also very well connected both abroad across the India very well. And the most important thing is that apart from the student hostels, the overall overall accommodations as far as concerned is very well afforded around the place that is basically TFR Hyderabad's campus actually. But here basically I'm presenting at a glance how the TFR Hyderabad research programs is. So essentially, as I'm going to take you through, the research programs revolves around the themes, something called life, light, and matter, and I'll explain that later. And this research is actually very well-rounded and multi-pronged approach, so that we can address scientific questions together in collaboration across the campus and also abroad at the same time. One of the important features that I'm trying to show here is that the number of faculty is not a lot, about 35, but that has been chosen very, very cautiously to make sure that there is a particular theme to these particular things. And at the same time, you can also see the projection that is basically we are having for the number of faculty and the other research scholars and scientific staffs. But one of the things I would like to highlight is that in TFR Hyderabad, there is a dedicated postdoctoral research program, and you can see that the number of postdoctoral fellows, which is right now in the institute, is quite a large number, which actually tells you that the kind of research infrastructure that people have to pursue postdoctoral research in our campus is very well maintained, and it is going to grow more actually. So as far as the overall research plan is concerned, as I pointed that it actually runs across the three different directions. One is light, one is matter, and life. So what do I mean by light is basically we have a very strong initiative on intense lasers, which I'm going to come to it. We also have very high interest in plasmonics, and one of the national facility for nuclear magnetic resonance, which is NMR, is basically situated at TFR Hyderabad. We have multiple NMR machines, which is basically used heavily across the campus, also across India. Apart from that, there is also multiple applications in the part of matters. You can see that it starts from metabolomics. You also have imaging. At the same time, there is a very strong presence of soft matter, both in theory and experiment. And there is also very strong presence of synthetic chemistry. As far as matter is concerned, you can also see there are areas which is Mars material, energy and environment, and also arts system sciences. The life aspect has started later, but it has picked up very quickly, and you can see that there are representation from cell biology, chemical biology, synthetic biology, and even up to recently we have expanded to ecology as well. So one of the important features of TFR Hyderabad, these three different areas, this light, life, matter, is that they are not isolated as such. Basically, what you can see is that they are quite well mixed with each other. What I mean by this is that most of the principal investigators who are basically working on different theme are actually trying to have a crosstalk across the across these themes and trying to do research which is more interdisciplinary in nature. So you can see that there are NMR spectroscopy, which is actually have a very crosstalk with also material sciences, as well as also there are biophysics, which has very strong crosstalks with theoretical physics and as well as the theoretical chemistry. And you can also see that there are a significant presence of chemistry, which actually has very significant crosstalk with the other aspect of the matters. So as far as the research facilities is concerned, the research facilities are extremely state of the art. We have a very high highly affluent computing facility, which we basically take very pride in. We also have very good microscopy. We also have very good synthetic chemistry laboratory, and more importantly, actually these are managed by scientific officers which is dedicatedly associated with each of these instruments. Apart from that, there are multiple national international collaborations which has basically helped us to set up centers of excellence. One of the key one of the key programs that has started in TFR Hyderabad is something called Extreme Photonics Innovation Center, which was a collaboration between TFR Hyderabad and Rutherford Laboratory in UK, where the plan was to develop intense laser technology, and this has contributed to a huge amount of funding. Apart from that, within the national institutes, there is also a program called Arunda, which is basically mostly for nutrition. And the EPIC is also coming up with their own spin-off, which is on bioimaging centers. Now, as far as the research is concerned, as I told you, the faculties are very thorough and focused on their research. So number of publications, which is basically shown here, is actually, you can clearly see that with the very handful number of faculty, the number of publications are very good. But more important, number of publications is that the research highlights shows that the quality of publication is also very state of the art. And at the same time, this is also realized by the recognitions and the external grants, which is shown here. So you can also see that there are students who have basically got Smith Science Fellowship from our center. There are also faculty who have received the HFSP grant, which is an international grant. And at the same time, you can also see that this EPIC, which is the Joint India-UK Innovation Initiative, which has earned pretty large amount of funding to carry out this intense laser spectroscopy actually. So as far as the last part is concerned, that how this institute is going to host international research scholars. So if you look at the TFR Hyderabad faculty, most of the laboratories already have at least 1 or 2 postdoctoral researchers. It's basically possible because the institute already has a dedicated fellowship which funds postdoctoral researchers in natural sciences. And more importantly, we have also hosted postdoctoral associates from abroad in multiple years, and their funding has also been taken care of as far as the research and their stay is concerned. You can follow up with further further on these particular lines with our center director's office and our academic office, and I have provided the details here. So with this, I would like to close this here, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to take.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jagannath, for your presentation and also outlining, the institute's strength and also, the different programs and also the contact point for if European researchers would be interested for postdoctoral fellowship at your institute. So with this, I would like to conclude this part of the session where we had the expression of interest, the hosting offer opportunities from Indian and European institutions for the Global Fellowship. A big thanks to all the speakers and presenters for their time, and of course also to the attendees, for your being so attentive and listening. And I hope you will find some of these institutions interesting, and you will continue the dialogue, the conversation after this webinar. I think it was a very fruitful 2 hours plus today, and I would like to invite Dr. Vivek Dham from the EU delegation for the concluding remarks. Vivek, I think we are working towards the right direction, trying to bring India more on the map in Europe when it comes to RNI, and you're doing this for many years now. And what is your take now for the next steps?
Yeah, thank you, Samrat. And first of all, I would like to thank all the institutions who are presenting today, but there are so many other institutions in India who are equally excellent and having a world-class facility and research excellence. So since many years, we are trying a both-way mobility from not only from India to Europe, but Europe to India as well, because India in recent decade has become a science power, and there's so many institutions has an excellence. So we try to attract more Europeans to come to India. It is not only the Marie Curie program, but the member states programs also encourage Europeans to come to India. So I urge all the institutions presented today, as well as who had participated as a listener, to encourage Europeans to come to India, because this bilateral connections is very important. One-way mobility is not really projecting India as a scientific power. So we keep on people that the India's excellence has to be promoted in Europe. Europeans has to come to India. So I think this particular specific program not only provides the funding, but also provides then quality collaborations between European and Indian institutions. And I hope in coming days and months, you will have best proposals and you will attract the best Europeans to your institutions. And we are here to support you to all possible way so that the cooperation can excel more. I will stop it here, and thanks for your attention.
Thank you so much, Vivek, for the concluding remarks. And as Dr. Vivek said, we are here to help to be that bridge. If you are interested to come to India under the Global Fellowship, and you need more information and more contact points, please don't hesitate to contact us. Same goes for Indian institutions. If you're looking, for more details of this fellowship program and you would like to reach out to European researchers, you can, of course, come back to us. With that, I conclude today's webinar. I wish everyone in India, our Indian partners, a very good evening and a good lunch break now to all our attendees from Europe. Thank you so much for joining. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Bye.